Hi guys, it's Rachelle from Lane Furniture again, back for another furniture flip. Today I'm going to be working on this TV cabinet. It's seen better days. I'll come back in with a closer inspection shortly. Right, so this is my first real look over this piece. This again was gifted to me by a lovely friend, so I'm very thankful of that. The top actually looks really good. Obviously it's dirty and it's got some dints in, but none of that bothers me. This is perfect for me. It's not very deep, so even just a light sand is going to remove those. Let me have a look at the back and see if I think it's a solid piece. Yep. If it's veneer, you'll see that, like, all I can see there is the varnish peeling off, but this looks to be one piece and then these pieces below, but it's solid wood, which is great. The back is all good. Sorry, my husband's out there doing the gardening at the moment. Sorry, it's just getting louder and louder, so I just asked if he'd stop a second. Okay, now when it's a little hinge like this, sometimes I'll paint over it. The problem when you do that is that with the opening and closing is you tend to lose some of it, and it's not the best option in my opinion. These drawer pulls I'll probably end up reusing, just cleaning them up, because these are still really popular. I even buy these to put on furniture, so they're great. This shelf should be removable. Yeah, that one's removable. Bailey's inspecting. The friend who passed this on to me had a dog, a German Shepherd too. Thank you, Bailey. Yes, yeah, you don't need to kiss me while I'm doing this. So we've got the magnet there. I don't take those off, but what I'll do is take the doors off. And I actually end up taking a photo of the hinges. Now that might be overkill, but seriously, every time I take hinges off and put them back on, I struggle to work out how they go back on. Maybe my mind just doesn't work that way. But the good thing is there's plenty of room around the edge of the door, so I shouldn't have any issues with painting, because I won't paint the inside, but I will paint the edges and the back. So I can see that I shouldn't have any issues, certainly on that door, with opening and closing afterwards. Let's have a look. The draw's a bit stiff, but it's on runner. Oh, it's on these ones, which, oh, I don't think there's any clips to bring this one out. Let's have a look this side. Harper's inspecting too. Yeah, there's no clips that I can see, so I might not be able to lift that one out. I might have to work with it where it is. That's okay. Oh, that one comes out as well. That's good. So that's easy access. Those are easy to paint. There's no, sometimes that shelf is a set one, but that's good it's not. Okay, open and close is easy, and lots of room around the edge there. So I'm really happy with this one. This is a job that I can do in a day, but it's getting late in the day now, so I'll probably just get it sanded now, and then tomorrow I'll get it done. Haven't decided on colours or stains yet. I'll just see what it's like when that's stained, I've sanded it, and go from there. It's a really nice piece, and you can see the edges there. See where it's two solid pieces. I'm happy with that. Okay guys, stick with me. quite hard to come off. It was stored outside under a carport, so it would have had some heat on it, which always makes it a little bit harder to get off. At the moment I'm using an 80 grit sandpaper because I couldn't find a 120. Like I've said in previous videos, with this sander, the lower you go, if you go to an 80 or a 60, it's actually harder. So I'm going to try and see if I can find a 120 or 100 or a 120 and see how we go with that. Okay, I found some 120s. Let's give this a go. Right, so this is going to take a bit of a while, so I won't record the whole thing. I'll come back to you when it's all done. It's 2 days later. I took a break from furniture and was doing the drawers and the wallpaper and stuff yesterday. So I'm back to this today. So I've sanded the top. That was actually a bit of a tough sand. I got through about 5 pieces, I think. What I'm now going to do is take off the doors. Take off the hinges. I'm not going to spray them because obviously they match as they are now, so they're like a bronze now. I'll give them a clean, but I won't spray them because I'm just going to reuse them. So I'll take the doors off, take the hinges and drawer pulls off. I'll rough sand the edges, scuff sand the body, and then I will use white lightning. And one thing I haven't mentioned before, I don't think I've actually read through the instructions on the white lightning, so I'll do that on this occasion. I haven't done it in the past, I've got to be honest, I've never had an issue. But it does say to wash off with water afterwards, because what there is a risk of is creating a resist. So that's a barrier between the paint and the piece, which could have an issue with the adhesion. So that's something that is pretty important to do. Okay, I'm going to get on with stripping this, and then we'll come back to the sanding. Right, that's it all stripped down. By stripped down, I mean stripping out all the pieces, not stripping the varnish off, obviously. So I've taken the doors off. I did a little video to show me the way that the hinges were fitted. By that I mean whether the hinges are facing the front or facing the back. Everyone seems to be different, or it might just be my head that doesn't get it, but anyway, it helps me to do a little photo and a video. So I still haven't sanded the sides. I'm going to do that now. Everything is on the table then, ready to paint, and I paint the backs first of everything and then I flip it over, because then if it's a little bit tacky and you flip it over, so you may find that you end up getting some sort of marks or something on the back. You can fix it up, but it's easier if they're on the back than they are on the front. So that's what I do. With the shelves, I'll only paint the front and the sides. There's no need to paint the bottom of the shelves. And then there's all the hardware, which I'll give a wash. Okay. Time to get some sanding done. So I'm just using, on the sides here, I'm just using my palm sander I don't know if it's a palm sander or mouse sander. If it's in palm, I'll just go with palm. So I've got an 80 grit on this. Hopefully that'll be okay. This was a bit tough to take off, so I'll see how this goes. I might have to get the orbital on it, but let's see how we go. So that's coming up pretty well. I'm going to be putting a dark stain on it, I think, so I'm not going to be too fussy. But I'll just carry on doing the rest now. And then next, I'm going to show you me taping up the glass doors. That's this. That's the sides all sanded, and it's come up pretty well. I'll do another smooth coat, smooth sand, obviously, before I sand it. What I'm now going to do before I scuff sand it, as I'm going to clean it with white lightning, just to give it a good clean first. What I don't want to do is sand all this, push all this dirt into the grain, because it's been left outside. It's got leaves and things like that, it's quite dirty. So I'm going to give it a good clean, then a scuff sand, then white lightning, and then I'll rinse with water as well to get the white lightning off. And I'll actually read the instructions to the white lightning in a little while. So this is it pre-mixed. And these mister bottles are good. With a pump, I still get used to doing it. With the regular sprays, you have to go ch-ch-ch. These ones you hold and it's continuous. So this is what they use in hairdressers and things, I think. So yeah, I just want to give it a good clean before I sand it. I don't usually do this, but if a piece has been left outside, you've really got to... I mean, it was undercover, don't get me wrong, it's not... Oh, shelf thingies. It's not damaged at all, it's just been under a carport, so it's as to be expected. But it makes your life easier if you can get it as clean as possible. As I'm cleaning this, I've just noticed that the tacks are coming off on the back as well, so I'll give those, that's an easy fix. If you see the back piece coming away, you just get some tacks and tack it back on. So that's an easy fix. So I'm hoping to get this finished in one day. Generally I wouldn't without any dramas, so fingers crossed. The only thing that might hold me back is the weather today. There's a storm due in about an hour or two. So we'll just see how we go. But I'm undercover, so as long as I can get the majority done and I can get started, I can start painting, and I should be good. See, it's just dust and some leaves and things. But you definitely don't want to be painting over any dust, because that is going to cause your paint to come off. You don't want that. So sometimes with these TV units, this shelf is fixed, so it makes it difficult for painting. You can just get, you know, cut the handle short on a brush, or you can use the shorty brushes for cleaning on. I don't like those, I've said before, because it's got this little paint pattern thing on the top. It bloody hurts your hands. So I don't like those. But yeah, with all these shelves being able to come out, this makes it easy. So when you're looking for pieces, I would say, especially if you're thinking about pricing and what you're going to be able to sell them for and the time you're going to spend. So always look at what the edge is like here. If it's got a lip or a double lip, that's a lot of extra sanding. If it's got the fitted shelves, that's more work because you can't take them out to paint. And it's hard to get at them. And obviously check the back like I did at the beginning to make sure that it's solid wood. A lot of the pieces I do are veneer, so that doesn't mean you can't sand them. It just gives you the foresight to know that you have to be careful with it and not be aggressive when you're sanding. I'd say probably 60% of the pieces that I do a veneer. I can't take this drawer out, I mentioned it earlier. I can't see a way to get it out. That's not really any big issue. I'd prefer to be able to take it out, but there's not any clips there that I can see. So normally there would be a clip either side, you push up and down and they'll come out, but there isn't on this occasion, so just have to go with what I can get to. Look at Bailey, She's never far away, bless her. Beep beep, Bailey. Good girl. Oh, and if you're ever looking for something to sit on, I just use these camping chairs. Saves your butt sometimes. I'm usually pretty comfortable sitting on the floor, to be honest, but sometimes depending on the height of a piece, then a stool is good. This one's even got all the shelf thingy-jigs. What are they called? Thingy-jigs. Usually there's some of those missing, but not on this occasion. So I'm going to go a dark colour on this. I haven't decided yet what still. And as this is easy to access, I think I'll probably paint the insides. I don't know, I'm not decided on that actually. The paint's dark, the insides are dark. No, I won't. I'll just paint the shelves and the doors. But it still needs a really good clean. So I'll paint the inside of this, obviously, because that's open. But you'd be surprised how much extra paint you use if you decide to paint the insides, because generally they're more rough, so they're more porous, so they take more paint, they suck it up, they really do. So you really be surprised how much extra paint it takes. So if you can help it then and get away with it, then don't. Obviously you've got to be mindful, spiders, you've got to be mindful as if it's glass fronts, what you're going to be able to see through those glass fronts. But because I'm going to have a dark shelf, it's going to have a dark frame on the door and it's quite dark inside, I'm quite confident that that's going to be fine. So I'm not going to worry about it. Right, I'll finish doing this first clean and then I'll come back when I'm doing the scuff sand. Scuff sanding time. These trolleys are a godsend, by the way. They're from Bunnings, 12 bucks each. And this is 120 grit sandpaper. All that you're doing is giving the teeth, not the teeth, the paint something to stick to, so you're giving it some teeth. I don't need to do the inside because I'm not going to be painting it. Someone's shouting, I don't know who it is. I don't know if it's a domestic or a friendly shout. I'll carry on listening. Yeah, so this is as quick as it needs to be. Nothing, doesn't need to take ages. It doesn't. I see a lot of people saying they don't want to have to sand because it's too much of a job. It really isn't. It's really quick. And see these little, I don't know if you can see them, these little scuffs. Don't worry about them. You're not creating a brand new piece of furniture. You know, if there's big dents and stuff, you can fill them in, but don't make it harder than it needs to be. And on this drawer, because it's inset, I'll just do the lip there and around there, but just not underneath. Just be mindful that, you know, it's usually quite a tight fit. You don't want to create issues when you're trying to close it, so keep that thin. over to the doors and stuff. So I'm going to scuff sand these and then tape. Otherwise you'll end up ripping the tape off. And I've already given these a quick once over as well with the white lightning, but it's going to get a second go. So just a really quick sand. And again, this one has got some marks on, you can't see it, sorry. Done. So that's all the scuff sanding done. I'm going to go in now with a second white lightning clean, and I'm just going to read these instructions to you because I don't think I have before. Okay, dissolve. So this is pre-mixed. That's not even it. Is it? Yes, no, that is. I did write on it. Yeah, that's not it. That's just normal water. Hang on. Right on the bottle. Okay, so this is Dixie Belle White Lightning. I'll just show you what it looks like. I just ordered some more of this. It's so good. So it's in a powder form, crystal powder. And it says dissolve 2 heaped tablespoons of white lightning. How old am I? Look, these are even varifocal. Why I can't see through them I don't know. I need to get my eyes tested again. White lightning per gallon of hot water. I don't know what a gallon is. Squeeze excess from rag, rinse with clean warm water and wipe after. Do not let puddles sit. Use gloves and other proper PPE. Do as it says and not as I do. Okay, so according to that then you mix up a new batch each time. I don't. I think that would work out quite wasteful. So I pre-mix it and put it on with this. And then rinse afterwards with warm water. Right, I'm not going to let you have you watch me do this again because you've already seen it once. So I'll come back to you when I'm ready to start painting. Oh no, when I do the taping. Forgot to add, I'll be using hubby's undies again. Another thing I wanted to add, sometimes you might find that my voice is a bit croaky. There's 2 reasons for that, and someone who watched one of my videos actually commented and actually got in touch with me, which was so lovely, because she was concerned that it was raspy. So there's 2 things. When I get breathless sometimes because I've got anxiety, I don't feel anxious, but that's just one of the symptoms, the breathlessness. Another one is I had my thyroid removed about 14 years ago, and during that process they cut my vocal cord nerve, which it took, so I lost my voice completely, and it takes, I certainly don't have the strength that I used to have in my voice. See, I'm really breathless at the moment. So anyway, thanks for anyone's concern. I thought that was really lovely. And if anyone notices anything else about me that they're concerned about, please let me know, because I love that. Anyway, back to work. Right, let's do some taping. I hate taping. If I can get away with not taping, that's exactly what I will do. But the last one of these that I did and I didn't tape, it took me forever to get the paint off the glass after. So, yeah, I'm going to do it. So this is the green frog tape. I got this from Bunnings. You can probably get it from craft stockers too. And it took me ages to figure this out. Way too long than I cared to admit. To get the straight edges, just fold it over. I was trying to make sure that I cut it perfectly straight all the time. Just fold it over to give yourself that straight edge. It took me ages, honestly. Ages. Oh, it's so muggy here. definitely a storm coming. I feel it. So I fold over the one end to get that straight edge, and then when I come to this end, I just rip it off and sort of tuck it under, because on the next piece going down, I'll be able to straighten it up. So fold it over and tuck it in. And just make sure you're getting it as tight to that edge as you can, so you're not going to get glass on it. If you paint on it, if you do get any paint on the glass, just use a blade and scrape it off. It does come off easy enough when you don't have too much of it. So this is a lift in there because they're both folded over. But yeah, I don't know why I hate doing this so much, but I do. I'm just lazy. It's just a job that I don't like. But I'm happy when I'm tearing it off at the end and there's no paint on it, or very little. So yeah, just a Stanley blade or craft blade or whatever and scrape it off. That's getting on my nerves now. Oh, there you go. Right, I'll just do the other one. Oh, and do both sides, okay? So do that side as well. Yeah. Okay, I'll be back. Finally, all the prep work is done. Time to start painting. And I've decided on a colour. This is, I'm going with Purico Carbon. Those who don't know, Purico is a, well, in the silk version, they actually do this in chalk too. As you know, I don't use chalk, I'm too lazy. But I use the silk, so it's an all-in-one. So I don't have to prime this. It's got a built-in primer. Hang on, let me see what it says. Let me read it to you. Clean your piece using soapy water or your favourite cleaner. Dry thoroughly. Create tooth by lightly sanding the surface to dull any shine. Smooth off any flakes or repairs you may have made. Stir Purico silk with silk finish paint well. Shaking will make bubbles, so don't shake it. Did you just see what I said? I did. Don't shake it. Oh my god. Apply 2 coats to your piece in long smooth strokes for a silky smooth finish. Allow to dry between coats 30 minutes to 4 hours. Today's weather is probably going to be 5 minutes. There's a storm brewing, but god, it's really feeling quite oppressive at the moment. Our silk finish paint may take up to 7 days to fully cure. So 7 days is really good. Most paints are sort of 28 to 30 days to fully cure. And the difference between being touch dry and fully cured is it's not going to dint. You know, if you knock it, it's basically going to be solid, really strong. So what I do when I pass on a piece, because I sell it straight away. When I finish a piece, I sell it straight away, and then I just tell the customer to be careful with it for the first few weeks. And I also give them little pots of touch-up paint, so just 30 ml. I don't think I've shown you those before, so if I remember, I'll show you. And I just give them a little touch-up pot to go with, to take home with, and then I feel okay with them if they, you know, because sometimes it's easy enough when they're moving it around to. I'm shaking it again. There's something wrong with me. I'm going to put it down. So yeah, so I just give them that, and then I don't worry about it. So this is silk finish paint, low sheen, self-sealing finish, perfect for furniture and decor. Right. So it's a 3-in-1, a primer, paint, and a top coat. With dark colours, I definitely don't prime. I don't prime with any paints when it's a dark colour. With whites, I always prime, and Purico have got a nice white blocker that I use, but you won't see me use it very often because I don't paint white. Hate it. I like the finished product. I've said this so many times. Everyone knows this of me. but painting white destroys a little bit of my soul every time. Right, there it is. So this is carbon, and it's a pure black. Right, I've got to stir it. Oh, there it is. So my little tongue depressors, or craft sticks. And one thing to mention with the Purico tubs is that they're a little bit bigger than the normal. So you're either, wait, let me put my glasses on. Look, I might be going a little bit nuts. Yeah, so these are 600ml rather than the 500ml. So bear that in mind when you're costing jobs up. They go a long way. It goes a long way. Right, so I'm going to expect to do 2 or 3 coats of this. Let's just see how it goes on, and then I'll oh yeah, that's good. I get so excited with paint, don't I? As soon as one goes on, oh my god, look at it. It's like I've never done it before. Yeah, 2 coats I'd say this is going to be, which makes me happy. Right, so I'll just show you this bit, and then I'll just probably speed up the rest. I like watching paint jobs when they're speeded up. Makes it look so much easier. To be fair, it is pretty easy though. Especially when you get a little system going. And when I've got you guys to talk to. My neighbours must think I'm absolute whack job. I'm out here on my own. They must just think I talk to myself all day. I know, maybe I'll start calling you guys Bailey and Harper, and then they'll think I'm talking to the dogs. I'm going to do that. From now on, you guys are Bailey or Harper, okay? So what do you think, Bailey? Do you like this colour, Harper? I do that already anyway, I suppose. Actually, doesn't that make me just as nuts if I'm talking to the dogs like that? It does, doesn't it? Maybe more nuts. Maybe I should just put a sign on my gate saying I'm not nuts, I've got a YouTube channel. Yeah, maybe that's better than having them think I'm talking to my dogs. Right, I'm going to carry on doing this. I'll record it and speed it up so that you get to see the entire process. Right, now I want to paint the doors, and like I said, I do the back first, and then I'll flip them over. And then when I flip them over, because they've got this little lip here holding the glass in, they're not touching the base, so I can get around it and get a clean edge. So I always prefer to do it that way. And then if you do get any sort of tackiness or anything, or any marks from when it's flipped over, it's only on these edges. That's not true with every door. But you'll find a way that works best for you. This is just what I do. And on all the shelves, I'm only doing the one side, so I don't need to worry about that. first coat of paint on, I'm pretty confident it's just going to be 2 coats. And because this is an all-in-one, that will be it. So it'll just be 2 coats, no top coat needed. And then I'll be working on the top and then putting everything back together. Second and final coat is on, and it's really, really beautiful. Just 2 coats for this paint, for this colour, is really good. And it's such a silky finish. It's lovely. Well, now that this is painted, I'm thinking that I may have to do the inside. But what I'll do is I'll wait until the doors are on and make a decision then, because once the shelf is on there, it may make a difference. If so, I'll just paint it when the doors are on. It's no real biggie. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with that. It's still wet at the moment. And there's the shells. See this silky finish? It's really lovely. So next I'm gonna smooth sand the top and then get the stain on. So as you've seen me do many times before, I always rough sand the top first, and the sides, then I do the painting, and then I smooth sand the top ready to prep it for the stain. I don't really know why I sand it first, to be honest. It's just a habit I've gotten into. I don't like to do a big sand job after it's painted. There's just more risk of creating damage below. But I certainly sand it last, because when I'm painting, I will get bits of paint on here, and it's a lot easier to just smooth sand it off. So I'm going in now with my Bosch sander and my 240 grit sandpaper. onto the final stages. So now I'm just going to give this a good wipe over before I apply the stain. So I think it's probably now about maybe 2:30, and I didn't start until about 11 maybe. So it really doesn't take that long once you've got a routine, a system. It's just about getting that time. I know if you've got kids that's difficult. My daughter's 21 now, so I don't have to worry about that. Okay, stain time. Let me move this camera. Right, let's get on with the stain. So I'm going to be using Purico in the colour Leather. I love this stain. It's a stain and glaze, but I still put a top coat on it anyway. And I'm going to be applying with the Dixie Belle Gator Hide sponge. You've seen me use other cheaper ones, yellow ones. They work just fine. I do prefer the firmness of this one, and it's easier to hold, and it's got a nice flat surface. Sorry it's a bit dark, the sky has just gone black, the thunder is rumbling, so I'm going to get this done. When will I learn? Take this off first. My teeth. My teeth is the best tool. Look at it, it's beautiful. So this is really smooth to work with. It's just like, it's got the same sort of texture as the paint, the Purico paint. It's really nice to work with. So this is a long piece, but I'm still going to try and do just long strokes. It's not so important with this one because you've got plenty of work time, but with some of the stains you'll really see the stop and start. So I'll probably do 2 coats, but I sort of do it in a one-er. I don't generally look at it and then come back and do another one. I just keep working it because the work time is just really nice on it. Once it's dried, which is really quick, it soaks in really quickly. It's a beautiful colour. But you'll see now, hopefully I won't see a stop and start. I think the rain is just about to kick in. So when I've used other stains, it's more important to do this in a one long stroke. But this one I don't tend to see that issue so much. It's good practice anyway to do that, because you want to make it look as natural as possible. So blend it in as much as you can, but it does just go on so easily. And I want to get this one quite dark. I don't want a light leather, so one coat would just be a light leather. I want to get the best of this colour, so I'll definitely be doing 2 coats. If I wanted light stain, I generally use the Purico Driftwood. That's really nice. If I'm doing Purico products, that's what I will use. Is that the rain? Oh, man. What's your weather been like over Christmas and New Year? It's been terrible here. I mean, it's not like we can go anywhere anyway, really. But it would be nice just to not have rain. Yeah, can you hear that thunder? You right, girls? The girls are here with me. So I'm not doing the sides yet. What I'm going to do is I'll do the top, a couple of coats on the top, and then I'm going to do the sides, because the sides will just take it so well. The end grain, the top will take this side will take it the same as that because it's in the same direction, but the ends of the grain take it a lot better. It soaks in better, so it will be darker. So generally I will only do 1 coat on the edges, on the left and right sides. But this is silky smooth, so you don't get that stop and start. You can see it's just beautiful. You might not get to see me applying the top coat because this storm is here, but if you look at any of my other videos you'll see that. Then I'll just use the sponge the same, just a clear satin top coat. Like I said, this is a glaze and a stain, but I just like to add a top coat for extra durability. So I definitely want it darker than this. There's something to always be mindful of as well, that the colour that a stain is going to come out is dependent upon the colour of the wood and the type of the wood that you're putting it on. So pine is a very soft wood, so it is quite porous, and then other woods are a lot harder, they've got red in them. So really just looking at one piece and deciding that you want that colour is not really as straightforward as that. You really need to do a little test piece. Oh, this is gorgeous. Right, I'm doing the sides, let's see. And I always sort of feather it on the edge, because when you do this the sides, and sometimes you can sort of drag it on the edge, and you don't want to see that on the top, so just sort of feather it. Hopefully that makes sense. Sorry, I'm rushing a little bit because again we've got this storm. Excuse the camera moving. It seems to be every day right now we're fighting a storm. Oh jeez. So what I'll do once I've got all this on is I'll just show you some photos as it is now, and then I'll put it all back together. Then I'll decide whether I need to paint the insides of the covers. I think I probably will, but I won't show you that because it's, you know, it's pretty straightforward. It'll only take a couple of minutes, and then I'll show you photos of it all put back together. So the battery ran out and I didn't know, so I didn't even know what part I was rambling on at, so sorry if I miss out on what I've already said. I was just saying anyway that I was speaking to my husband yesterday and saying that I might get him on board for a few videos. If I'm doing if any furniture pieces need fixing, I tend to get him to do stuff like that, like planing down a door or something like that. I tend to get him to look at that. It's not something I couldn't do. To be honest, it's probably something I don't have the patience to do. But also I wanted to get, because when I pick up bedroom sets, I very often get a bed head with it that I don't use. I just pay it forward. So it's literally as soon as I get home, I'll put it and I'll advertise it and give it away, or I'll even advertise it on the way home and deliver it to someone. But what I would like to do is to be able to make a bench out of them or something like that, and that's something that he would do. So I might get him involved in some videos. I'm sure he won't want to do the talking. He's not chopsy like me, but he won't mind me filming him and explaining what he's doing. So that might be something that we do in the future. I don't know how I managed to talk so much. Believe it or not, I actually, in real life, I don't talk much. I don't do small talk. I only talk when I've got something to say. I'm not that social at all, really. Kind of rude. But I can own that. So I'm probably going, this is like a third coat, but I haven't waited really for it to dry in between, because I don't really need to. Thunder, no rain. Yeah, I don't really need to wait. Oh, great, the rain's coming in here now. Beep girls, please. Right, that's that done. What I'm going to do now is put the doors and everything back on, see what I think about the insides. If I need to paint it, I will paint it, but for now this is the end of the video for you guys. I'll just add some final photos. Thanks very much. Here she is, all finished. There's still a little bit of touch-ups I want to do where I took off the tape on the doors, but in the interest of getting this video up tonight, I'm just dressing it for photos now in between the storm. So that's leather. It's really beautiful colour. If I'd have done a few more coats, that would be darker, obviously, but I'm really happy. And I'm not going to be painting inside. You can't see from the outside, and if you could, I actually like it because it's very similar to the top, so it's a nice contrast. But yeah, I love it. See if you can see the finish. The rain is just starting again, so I need to go.